Hello and welcome back to Marine for TCG. My name is Joe. Drink of the day is the return of the Tenzing Lime and Mint. I've missed this. And I've just got back from 3 weeks out in Japan. We visited many places all over the country. And in this video I'm going to be showing off the epic W Scouts. The card that I was looking for. A few other bits that I've bought. And then towards the end I'm going to shout out a couple of my favourite card shops that I went to whilst I was out in Japan. And a couple of more off-the-beaten-track places that we also went to that I would recommend if you're going on your own trip to Japan. But first, if you're looking for the coolest TCG accessories on the market, you've got to check out Sleeve Chief. They've got sleeves, they've got binders, they've got deck boxes. Your favourite characters or original designs, Sleeve Chief has it all. And if you do purchase anything, you can use code MARINE for 5% off. Thank you to Sleeve Chief for sponsoring this video. And we can start off with this one that's on my head. So we went to the One Piece Mugiwara store. These are really cool. They've got a bunch of them all over the country. The best one that we went to was the one in Osaka Umeda Station, I believe. And there I found this hat, but not only this hat, this epic marine themed pen. And also, where is he? Where is he? Here he is. Bean Kuzan. They had a whole bunch of these beans, some really strange characters. They had beans of the 5 elders. They had, of course, many of your fan favourite characters, Luffy's, Nami's, Zoro's. All of the new sword characters like Kobe and Hibari. But I don't know, I just thought this Kuzan looked really goofy. So I picked up the Kuzan. It was like £4. Everything out there, man, is so cheap because of the currency conversion, right? See, I was just kind of picking things up left and right, and this Kuzan is no exception. The Mugiwara store is one of the first places we went to. We got a whole bunch of stuff there, like I say. I got the Kuzan, some friends got some other characters. One of my homies got a Vivi, one of them got a Rosie. That was pretty cool. And I also found this face cloth of Fat Luffy with Boa as a DJ. I thought this was pretty sick. Replaced my old boring grey face cloth with a fat Luffy one. There's a whole bunch of designs of these, and if you are heading to Japan, would definitely recommend hitting up the Mugiwara store. Some other quick bits I bought that we can rattle through before we get to the main attraction, the cardboard. I bought a Japanese version of One Piece Volume 1, Romance Dawn. I can't read it. I cannot read Japanese any more than maybe translating a card here and there. But this looked like a cool thing to have on my shelf as like an ornament. And you never know, maybe if I learn Japanese properly one day, maybe I can use this as some practicing material. That'd be pretty cool. Also bought a bottle of plum wine. I was a huge fan of the plum wine. Drinking loads of that out there. Never had it before. Tried it at one of the first restaurants that we went to. I didn't have this on my previous trip to Japan. But yeah, I had some plum wine. Brilliant. So I've bought a bottle home. And I'm hoping to find some more in my local Chinese supermarket. They have quite a lot of like sojus and things. I've never looked at the wines, but I am hoping they have some more plum wine. And if you do go, definitely try the plum wine. It's really sweet. It doesn't taste like white wine or red wine. It's much sweeter. And the flavour is just really, really nice. We had it on the rocks. You can also have it mixed with soda water. But I feel like that was just turning it into a bit more of like a spirited mixer. So would definitely recommend plum wine on the rocks. A few other things that I bought. I got a push model of, this is the Ginkakuji, right? The Golden Temple in Kyoto. We didn't go there this time. We went there last time. But this is my favourite one of these that I saw. They do loads of these. This is just from a Don Quixote, I think. But yeah, they do loads of these, and they come out really cool. I've got one from a similar series that I did last time. This one with Mount Fuji, with the Chura Ito Pagoda, I believe the name is, with the Sakura. I actually saw this view this time. If I remember, I'll try and put a picture here of this view with me in it. Devastating. But yeah, that was cool. I really enjoyed that last time. So I wanted to buy another one, and this one caught my eye. It's pretty cool. Also went to the Nintendo store and got the Hylian Shield as a coaster. I previously bought the Snorlax one, and I've also got the Pikachu one somewhere else. These are from the cafe, Pokemon Cafe. This one is just from the Nintendo store, but I'm a big Zelda fan. If you're wondering, my favourite game is probably Skyward Sword. It's more of a controversial one. Let me know your favourite Zelda game in the comments if you are a Zelda fan. I believe that is most of the knickknacks and things that I bought. I do have a few figures, which I'll put a few pictures here of. I don't want to move most of them because they're pretty big. I've got the Ichiban Kuji Luffy, the one that's on the card, the Rush Luffy card. And so I've got that one, that's really cool. Got a nice looking Borsalino here. And also got this from a gacha machine, which is the alt art of the OG 2-cost Luffy from OP01. But they've turned it into like a figure, which is really cool. Really was looking out for those One Piece card game, themed figures. And also, we then went down to Kumamoto, just for a day. Just stopped off for a day, so we didn't get to see all of the figures. They're far too spread out. But if you don't know, around Kumamoto City and the local area, they have real gold statues, like big size, of all of the One Piece characters. And why they're there is because after the Kumamoto earthquake, back in 2018, I believe it was, Oda donated a bunch of money to help with restoration efforts, because Oda is from Kumamoto. So in his honor, they've put up statues of all the One Piece characters around Kumamoto and in places that are relevant to their character. It's like Zoro is in a town that's quite well known for its martial arts, or sword arts, excuse me. Usopp was he's in Aso, which is a place that a lot of the vegetation failed, so Usopp's using his like green stars to revitalize the vegetation of the area. And when you go to these statues, there are shops nearby that sell these little gold figures that you can get of the statues. They're exclusive to the shops. You can only buy them at the relevant statue. There's no way you can buy all of these, at least new. So I picked up these. I was also hoping to pick up the Kumamoto Don binder, but unfortunately that was sold out literally everywhere. We saw it a couple times in second-hand shops, but it was far too expensive, so I didn't pick that up. Also got some Nami water. This was right at the top of Aso Volcano, which is a really cool place. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the crater because it was closed, but definitely recommend going to Aso, and you can get some Nami water at the top of the volcano. What a time to be alive. So that's the figures that I got, and now, as Nami falls off, we can jump into the cards. So, firstly, got a couple of pickups that I did for other people. One of my homies wanted a Garp leader, so we picked that one up. And then one of the people from locals wanted a few of the Japan exclusive Dons. So we got this one, which I have no idea who these are. Are these like a band? Like the Gorillas or something? Who are the Green Boys? I have no idea, but he wanted this Don, so we found it. And then also this Don, which I feel like we haven't got in English, but I personally don't know. If you recognise this Don, and you know that we've actually got an English version, let me know in the comments, because I don't know much about this one, but this is for a homie anyway. And then on to the things that I was looking for. So the main things that I was looking for were all of the Japanese leaders. And we went around card shop after card shop, looking for these, mainly their Lekafig leaders, the main Japanese exclusive ones. They of course have the Zoro cereal and the Luffy cereal. I won't buy that. I'm not rich enough for that. But I wanted all these Lekafig ones for my leader collection. And the Sakazuki is super clean. This looks sick. I really like this one. Some of these are in sleeves. I'm not going to be unsleeving them all now. You can deal with the glare. But yeah, this was cool. And we found this one and also this one, Smoker, in one of my favourite shops that we went to out there, which was Card Raftel. I'll put a screen grab of their X on the screen now, if I remember. This was a really cool shop in Akihabara in Tokyo. And it was just all One Piece cards. There were no Pokemon, no Yu-Gi-Oh, no Magic. It was all One Piece, which is really cool. So they had a massive, massive selection. And this was like right at the end of the trip. These were the last two that I was looking for. Could not find these anywhere. They're not on Card Market, barely any on eBay. But we managed to find them at the twilight hour, and I was thrilled. The other Lekafig leaders were not as difficult to find. Got the Yamato, the green yellow Yamato. This one's pretty nice. Not my favourite, but I think I do prefer this to the regular full art of the Yamato, which is cool. This Vegapunk is sick. This might be my favourite of the bunch. I don't know, something about the art just really pops. It looks more similar to the base art leader and like the gold version from PRB02. But I don't know, I like this pose more. It's him sort of flying through the air with his big tongue hanging out. This is really cool. It's probably my favourite of the Lekafig leaders. But we also did get the Marco hiding in the flames. Not too crazy about this one, but do have to complete the collection. So we've got him. And then Bonnie, and this is a really nice one as well. This is much better than the Bonnie Alt-Art leader. I love Kuma. I'm a Kuma enjoyer, but I don't know, this pose is way more iconic than just like her big face in the full art. So I do definitely prefer this, and I'll probably use some of these leaders if I play these decks at locals, because I don't think people will care at locals if you use cool Japanese leaders. And also Zoro. This one's very dark, really quite weird, and it's one of the original Lekafigs, I believe. This one was also quite a lot more expensive than the others, but I did get him, and that was all the Lekafig leaders that I was looking for. They also have one version of the S tier 1 Luffy, but that looks exactly the same as the leader from the deck, and it was really expensive, so I didn't buy that one. Then moving on, I wanted to pick up the Pogging leaders. So this, if you don't know, I guess I can pull it over now. There's a binder, which... Story of this one, I found all of these damn leaders individually. We found them all individually in shops, and then I went in a shop near the end of the trip, and they just had this for cheaper than I'd paid for all 6 of the leaders individually, which was very frustrating. But I did end up buying 1 or 2 of these as well. One of them, one of my homies wants. The other one, I don't know, I might put it on the shelf. It does look really nice with the cards out. But yeah, these are the 6 you get. You get ST21 Luffy, Chopper, Perona, Usopp, Sugar, and Enel. Enel is easily the best one of these. This is iconic, right? The meme Enel face. It's kind of spawned all the rest of these, I think. Maybe not the Chopper. I'm not sure which came first. This has got to be Thriller Bark, right? I don't know. Either way, the Enel one is my favourite. And I did find that binder in the end. But we individually tracked down and captured all of the Pogging leaders. Got Usopp, Perona. Some of them still have the prices on. You can see if I got scammed. Took like half the holiday looking for this one, and this was the first one we saw. It wasn't extremely expensive. Then after this, found it 3 times cheaper. Incredible. Got the Luffy getting hit by Kaido's bat on the top of Wano. Chopper. I don't know where this scene's from. I know all the other ones, right? Like this is Dressrosa Usopp. This is Perona when she finds out that Usopp's too negative to be hit by the ghosts. This is Luffy fighting Kaido. I don't know where this Chopper's from. This is obviously Sugar when Usopp does this face, right? Because he eats the spicy berry. And then Sugar does this face and passes out and Dressrosa. And then finally Enel, the king of them all. It's so sick, man. I wish we got these in English so you could run these in like official regionals. But if I ever play Yellow Enel, or any of these other ones, I will absolutely be cracking this out at locals. I'll have an English copy as well, just in case anyone doesn't know what he does. But this is so fire, man. So fire. And then finally, I wanted to collect a bunch of Navy cards. And I know this one isn't Japanese exclusive, but it's really, really expensive in English. And this is like 25 quid I picked this up for, this Gold Rosie leader. It's the only gold Navy leader from that set, EBO 2. I can't remember, man. But it looks really good. And did want to pick this one up for the Navy collection. Then we've got the Rosie Gold Don, which I didn't have, and this is also for my Navy collection. And then a few exclusive ones. This is the Tashigi from the One Piece Girls binder, if my memory serves me right. Really cool art. We never got this in English, as far as I'm aware. And this was also dirt cheap. This was £1. Incredible. Really bad card, but looks nice. I really like the art style on this one. And then I didn't even know this existed. I have no idea where this is from, but I found this in a shop out there. This is the 3-cost 2K Tashigi, the protection one. Nice looking card, Navy. We definitely don't have this art in English. And I really like the snowflakes. If you can see on the right hand sides, I really do like the snowflakes on this one. This is really cool. And then these two are 2 more that I found in Card Raftel that I didn't know these existed. These are Judge promos from the East, which I feel like is a new thing. But our Judge promos in the West are absolute dog shit. They look terrible. They just have a big ugly stamp on them, and they're hollows. These are full arts, man. You're the 1-drop Sengoku, the Searcher, and the 1-drop Virgo Searcher. Both, I guess I can take the Virgo out. These are pretty big barcode. But yeah, it's a full art version of these cards that don't really have full arts otherwise. We have a winner version of the Sengoku. But if you're a friend of the channel, you know my opinion on the winner cards. I think they look awful. And these were an absolute cop. Last minute, didn't know these existed. So very happy I went to Card Raftel and found those. And then finally, I was looking to pick up some of the flagship winner cards. Because we have these in English as regional promos. But they're incredibly expensive. And I can just get the nice artwork for a lot cheaper for my collection. I'm not going to play these. Anyway, so we've got the Chigi from the Zoro deck, the Hibari, and the 3-drop Kobe. There was also the 8-drop Kobe, but it was really quite pricey. So I kind of dodged out on buying that one. But I did get these 3. And it's cool. I like the borders. I do prefer full arts to these tournament cards, I must say. But it's nice that these have unique artworks that I was able to pick up. I was very pleased with that. Now that is all the cards that I have, I believe. I do have one more thing, though. Found this right as we were about to leave Japan. Found a cat marine blind box. What the hell is this, man? So you're going to get one of these characters where you got Smoker, Kobe, Garp, Sengoku, the 3 admirals. And annoyingly, it looks like you can get Luffy. It's like some kind of secret rare. I really hope we don't get Luffy. But we're going to crack this open now. Assuming I can. Yes, there we go. We're in. Hacker-Man. We're just hoping for anyone that's not Luffy. Sakazuki would be pretty cool. But anyone that's not Luffy. That doesn't look like Luffy. That does not look like Luffy. Oh, it's Garp. We got Garp. That's pretty cool. Ah. So if you ever wondered what Garp would look like as a cat, there you are. That's what he would look like as a cat. The Justice on the back. That's pretty cool. It's actually quite well made. Feels pretty sturdy. There you are. There's what Garp would look like as a cat. What's a time to be alive? What does this have on it? Ah, it's a... There you go. What's this? This is an ad for something else. Yeah, there we go. We got Garp as a cat. Well, I can't have a video without some kind of unboxing. Last thing that I got. You may have seen him in the background. As we went to Kumamoto, had to get a Kumamon. So we got the Pogging Kumamon plush. He's really cool. Very cute. Very, very cool character. This is the mascot of Kumamoto City. Kumamon. He's massive out in Japan. He's a big deal. He has brought in like so much tourism and money to Kumamoto area. And I believe he was the one that spawned like a lot of different cities in Japan having their own mascots. It's all because of this guy right here. What a Chad. And that's it for pretty much all of the stuff that I bought. I did get a couple of like stacks and things. But nothing too exciting. Nothing too exciting. You can see the figures in the background as well, right? Behind my head, look, there's Luffy. Borsalino is there. He might be off. He might be off camera. I might have cut him out. But yeah, it was a really good trip. Found so many cool things, and was really excited to bring them back. So now, in terms of card shops, we kind of went to 2 main areas. First of all, we were in. I'm going to take this off now. My head is too large. I can't wear hats, man. Look at this. That is on max distance. That is on like the last peg of the hat, and it imprinted my head. My head is so fat. Anyway, so the 2 main areas we went to is when we got to Tokyo, we went to Akihabara. Obviously, loads of card shops there. It's the most famous like nerd culture area in Japan, and it didn't disappoint. Loads of great cards. Like I said, the best shop we went to in Aki was absolutely Card Raftel. Definitely hit them up if you are going to Japan. Had the best selection of One Piece by a mile. They also seem to have like a lot of versions of a lot of different cards. Because when I was pointing at cards in cases, he was going, okay, come to the till, and then he was pulling them from out the back. So whilst a lot of shops only have what's on display, if you're looking for like multiples of a Gold Don, for example, I feel like Card Raftel may well be your best odds for that as well. In terms of other card shops, we hit up a few in like the minor cities we went to, places like Kobe and Meiji, Kumamoto even, but they weren't great. We didn't have that much luck there finding the things that I was looking for. And then we went to Denden Town in Osaka. This was actually the first place we went. I've kind of gone backwards. But we went to Denden Town in Osaka, which is kind of Osaka's version of Akihabara. Loads of, again, nerd culture shops, figure shops, video game shops, card shops. And there was like one sort of area with just card shop after card shop after card shop. I think the one where I bought the most was Dragon Star, which I'll try and have a picture on the screen of, like the Google Maps location. But yeah, one thing I would recommend is if you're looking for trading card shops in Japan, I have an iPhone. I love Apple Maps. Apple Maps is excellent. However, when you're looking for trading card stores, Apple Maps is not excellent. It's, in fact, very shit. So what I did is I downloaded Google Maps and just typed in trading card store, and it just brought up a bunch of them on the map. Would definitely recommend downloading Google Maps. If you're an Android user, you probably would have it. But if you are an iPhone user, maybe skip Apple Maps for that one thing. Looking for trading card stores. Apple Maps was excellent for everything else. Transit, navigating around, but it just couldn't find trading card stores. I don't know why. Maybe it isn't hooked up to like interpret the Japanese characters and translate them before doing the search, because a lot of the places' names were coming up with hiragana or katakana in Google Maps. But yeah, definitely recommend Google Maps for that anyway. And like I said, the two best stores I went to were Dragon Star in Osaka, and there's a few different branches of that in the same area, so be careful. And also Card Raftel in Aki. Now, in terms of other things we did, because obviously big cities is very exciting, trading cards, very exciting, but I want to get more out into nature this time, because I have been to Japan before. We very much focused on the cities that time, and we spent a good few days in the cities this time as well. But I wanted to get more out into nature. And one of the best things we did was we did a trip from Osaka. We went to the Takadao Abandoned Railway. But the Takadao Abandoned Railway is a place, it's about 45 minutes, an hour from Osaka, depending on where you're staying. But the Takadao Railway is that you can get off at one station, and then you walk 2 stations up the line, following what was the old track. And there's a whole bunch of like really cool tunnels where you go halfway in and it's just completely pitch black. Even your phone torch barely lights anything up. It's kind of weird. But you're like along this ravine between 2 steep cliff sides. There's a river flowing through the ravine, load of bridges over the river, and all these dark tunnels. That was really sick, really peaceful. Not many other tourists there. I saw 1 or 2 Westerners, and then probably a few dozen Japanese people. But this seemed very much off the beaten track. I don't think many people, at least many Westerners, go there. So it was really cool to see somewhere that was a bit very different from anything that I've seen in England, at least. So that was cool, the Takadao Abandoned Railway. We also went up Mount Maya, which is near Kobe. We did do a day where we went to Kobe and had Kobe beef. It was brilliant. The beef is just next level, man. It's the best beef I've ever had by far. But we also went up this mountain, Mount Maya, which was very close to Kobe. On the way there, we walked through this passage up a really steep hill with a bunch of cherry blossom trees lining it. I think it is a fairly famous photo spot. I hadn't heard of it until we just kind of happened upon it, which was really cool. Authentic discovery. There were a bunch of people there with like tripods and cameras. I think they were all Japanese people. From memory, 1 or 2 Westerners again. But this cherry blossom tunnel up the hill, and then we got on a cable car, went up Mount Maya, and then had just this stunning view of Kobe and Osaka from just massively high up this mountain. Also found my favourite temple of the trip. When you go to Japan, you've got to check out some temples. And the big ones, they're big and popular for a reason. They're very nice temples. But places like Sensoji and some of the other big temples can just be way too crowded and honestly unenjoyable. And we kind of walked, and having seen a lot of different temples now in Japan, this is my favourite one so far. It was just beautifully tended. All the rocks were tended in like pretty patterns with hills and spirals, and it was just quiet. There was next to nobody there. There was like, I think 4 other Japanese people there when we were there, and we just walked around, had a look at the temple. You could go in one of the buildings, we'd take your shoes off, obviously, go inside, have a look at some of the things in there that a lot of other temples are all fenced off because of the pure amount of tourists. But because this one was up a mountain, I don't think many people go there. I can't remember the name of the temple. But it was really beautiful, and it was at the top of Mount Maya. And would definitely recommend, if you're going to Kobe, definitely hit up Mount Maya. It was a nice couple hours out, up the cliff, have a walk about, see a cool temple, and get some stunning views of Kobe and Osaka. Then we got a boat a bit later on from Osaka down to Beppu in Kyushu. It was a cool overnight boat, Sunflower Ferries, I believe it was called. They had a buffet on board, like £12.50. You could get unlimited sashimi, tempura, they had a chocolate fountain, loads of cakes. It was really cool. So we went on that, and you wake up at like 7 o'clock in the morning in Beppu. Perfect time to get there. And then in Beppu, we saw the famous thing, the Hells of Beppu. It's a bunch of like hot springs with different colours and traits. You had red ones, you had a brown one. You had one with a load of crocodiles, which was kind of weird. But that was really cool. And then we wanted to go to Kumamoto to see some of the One Piece statues. So we got a train through the mountains that stopped at Aso, which is where Usopp is. And then we got off to see Usopp and went up a volcano, which was pretty cool. That's where I found the Nami water. And that was another place that I wish we got to see the sort of crater. But you can see in some of these images the smoke coming off the volcano, which was really, really cool. I think that's enough for sort of recommendations. But yeah, I definitely recommend hitting up some of those places if you're looking for a little bit less of like the crowded tourist sites. There were still tourists in all of the places that I mentioned, maybe except Mount Maya. That one was very, very quiet. But it was just so nice having a more peaceful place to walk around in and enjoy the Japanese scenery compared to some of the more popular places like Mount Fuji. We went there, and it is stunning. You got to go there. But it was rammed as hell, man. So many people there for cherry blossom season. So it didn't feel as serene as last time I was at Mount Fuji, when it was much more peaceful. There were far less tourists last time. But either way, I think that's it for this video. If you're looking to go to Japan and you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I guess I can talk about flights. So we flew with Air China. I would definitely recommend Air China. The first time we went, we flew direct with British Airways from London to Tokyo. And British Airways is shit. They are a terrible airline now for the price that you pay. We paid a lot of money for that flight. It didn't include luggage as standard, which is diabolical. There was no way to add one case. You had to add two, which was diabolical. The food was bad. The seats were uncomfortable. I would not recommend British Airways, but I would recommend Air China. Air China have better routes. They fly directly over Russia. So whilst we did have to change, it wasn't actually that much slower than flying direct with someone like BA or ANA. And it was like nearly a third of the price, man. It was so cheap. So cheap compared to what we paid before. The food was better. You have luggage included as standard. The seats were more comfortable. Would definitely recommend Air China. Although it was quite bizarre on the connecting flight from both Shanghai to Osaka and from Tokyo to Beijing on the way back. Well, barely any Chinese or Japanese people on there. It was pretty much all Westerners because of the political situation, right, that's going on at the minute between China and Japan. Chinese tourism to Japan is at like an all-time low, which we still definitely saw some Chinese people out there. But on our planes in particular, it was vast majority Westerners, with a few like Chinese and Japanese people as well, which was very odd. But yeah, would definitely recommend Air China. Brilliant fares from Europe, and changing planes in China was very easy. You don't need a visa. You don't need to fill in anything. You just go through the transit gates. It was dead easy. But yeah, if you have any questions about your own Japan trip, if you want any of my thoughts on anything else, let me know in the comments. I'll probably check the comments on this one quite religiously, in case anyone has any questions. But thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to going back at some time. There's so much more to see. The rest of the gold statues in Kumamoto, I want to go back there to see more of that. I do want to spend more time in Kyushu in the future. Hit up like Fukuoka, maybe Nagasaki, as well as Hiroshima, which I believe is not in Kyushu, but I do want to go there as well, because that looks really cool. And potentially also Hokkaido in the future, although I'm not a big snow fan, so I would definitely not be going there in winter, because It looks pretty crazy in winter. Although they do some sick festivals, so you never know. You never know. But yeah, definitely will be going back. Not sure when, not sure how. But either way, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your